This is Charlie from Ask Dad Why, and you're watching the unboxing and review of the Goldshell LB1 miner. This is a Lbry miner. I'm going to talk about Lbry, the LBC protocol, mine pools, how I set the thing up, and even if you stick around for the end, you'll get to see a break-even analysis in where I talk about the cost of power. But for those of you who are impatient and like to know the summary up front, here goes. Before I say another word, I do need to tell you that I am not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. This is tech and finance education, and the content that's provided on Ask Dad Why is information to help users become financially literate and understand how things work. That's it. I think it'll be helpful to talk right up front about how all these pieces fit together. So this 2-pound little brick-sized box, this is what's actually going to be the miner. It's going to be connected to your computer via a USB connection, and it's going to plug into the wall via this little socket right over here. Those are the only two connections on here. All of the internet connectivity is via your laptop. The other piece of this thing that you need is an account with a mine pool. So the mine pool is where the actual mining goes on. I'll explain what a mine pool is in a second, but basically you're going to connect to the mine pool via the web. The miner management software that you're going to install on your PC communicates with the LB1 for the purpose of configuration and management only. So there's no actual computational work going on your PC. All that's happening on an application-specific integrated chip that's on this box. And an ASIC is basically a specialized microchip that contains firmware with a special set of instructions that just does one thing. That's how all this fits together. Now, I mentioned that you'll need to set up an account with a mining pool. This is an important component. A mining pool is a group of miners working together to increase their chances of finding a block at the group level. Remember, what you're doing here when you're mining on this device is you are performing proof of work computation. And when that proof of work computation is successful, then you can add information to the blockchain. The pool takes data from lots of these, not just this particular box, but people who might be attempting to use GPU miners or even CPU miners or other miners, and they are collecting everybody's collective effort to add data to the blockchain. So you join a mine pool, and the mine pool keeps a small fee for performing that work. And in exchange, you receive almost all of the rest of the revenue associated with the reward of LBC coin. Now, I found out which mine pool to use by looking at a site called miningpoolstats.com. Let's go take a look at that. Now, I have to admit, this part of the journey confused me a little bit. When I went to miningpoolstats.com, I did not really understand what I was looking at. I searched for LBC, which is the name of the coin that this LB1 device will mine, and it gave me a list of mine pools that mine LBC. And based on the statistics, the hash rate, the success rate of these various pools, I selected via BTC to be the mine pool that I'm participating in. And then the next step was to sign up for an account with via BTC. Didn't cost anything. You just provide username and password. You create an account, and you define what's called a worker, which refers to the instance of the miner that you are going to be connecting to the mine pool with. Different cryptocurrencies use different mine pools. Mine pools are set up for different cryptocurrencies. So you got to go and figure out which mine pool you want to join based upon the cryptocurrency that you're going to be mining. My advice is use multi-factor authentication when you create the account with the mine pool, just like you do for everything else involving digital wallets and cryptocurrency. Make sure your virus definitions are up to date. Make sure you're using a key scrambler. make sure you're using multi-factor authentication. It is the Wild West. So I went with via BTC based on a recommendation from an individual friend, but also based on the information that we were able to see when we looked at that miningpoolstats.com website. So another part of the process here is you need to establish a wallet to receive the cryptocurrency from the mine pool. So again, use multi-factor authentication everywhere. Get your crypto off the mine pool. Don't leave it there, because as you accrue LBC credits in this case, or whatever it is that you're mining, those coins are going to build up at the mine pool. You want to get them off that wallet as quickly as possible, because again, it's the Wild West and it's your coin, so you should be in control of it. And there are multiple payment methods available. Now, there's a degree of complexity to this. Let's take another look again at the mine pool. This miner is mining the LBC protocol, Lbry Credits. LBRY, which is pronounced library, is a decentralized digital content marketplace. The coin is LBC. LBRY, or library, is a protocol for accessing and publishing digital content in a global decentralized marketplace. Lbry uses a public blockchain to provide a single shared index of published content, as well as content discovery and payment. What does all that mean? It means that there is an underlying purpose and usefulness to the LBC cryptocurrency, which is part of the reason why I was interested in doing this explainer. And I will also tell you something about the usefulness of this device, because I know the internet loves a story. I have a friend who purchased this device, and he asked me if I would do this explainer unboxing video to talk about how the thing works. And I said, well, I suppose I could do that. Thank you for the offer. Then I found out that this is a miner for the Lbry protocol, and I became much more interested, because now you're not just mining for the sake of mining, but you're mining for a coin that actually has some underlying usefulness I'm about to explain. So LBC is the cryptocurrency of the Lbry protocol. Lbry is a lot like a layer 7 protocol. It's kind of like HTTP, and it is actually used on a website called Odysee and some other places for storing media. What is Odysee? Odysee is a video sharing app that's built on the open source, decentralized blockchain-based Lbry network. It allows for transactions that are transparent, meaning that everything you put on the blockchain is explorable and visible to everybody else. It is censorship resistant. Notice I didn't say completely uncensored, because it is possible that if you put something so heinous that it is dangerous to the world, it could be removed. But it is censorship resistant. It is not based on an advertising model. It uses LBC for tips and transactions. And I got to say, if you look at this website, it's a heck of a lot of fun. Now, I got to go back to this not based on an advertising model. This is very key, and this is very key for understanding why it's valuable to mine LBC tokens. So the world that we know and love on the internet is all based upon companies, centralized authority over content. YouTube, no knock on YouTube. We love YouTube. I spend hours and hours and hours a week watching YouTube. We all do. We love YouTube. YouTube's not going away. But the way YouTube works is based on an advertising model, meaning you post the videos, you watch the videos, the whole thing pays for itself because YouTube sells advertising that runs before, during, and after the videos, and they collect a whole lot of data about the people that are watching the videos, and they sell that data to the advertisers in the form of ad space and ad time and pre-roll ads and post-roll ads and you name it, and 5-second ads, and we've seen the whole thing. And all of that money, the entire model, is top-down. It is completely centralized upon the profits of a public company. So That doesn't mean that everything in the world has to run that way. And what the folks who have created the Lbry protocol are saying is it is possible to have a non-advertiser supported content distribution system. And they've created this website called Odysee. I suppose you could look at it as a little bit of as an imitator of YouTube, but it's pretty incredible. It uses the LBC tokens. So when you watch videos, let me start over. When you upload videos, you can define how much credit the people who watch the video will receive in return for watching that video. So you could set that to 1 Lbry token. You could set it to 3 Lbry tokens. You could set it to 0 Lbry tokens if you want. But that is the methodology by which the person that posts the content or the content creator will receive revenue from your watching it, which is completely different from the traditional model that the world is using today. And that's what makes LBC and mining on this little device interesting, because you can also use the tokens as a content creator to post your videos. This is a little bit like BitTorrent, except it uses a cryptocurrency as a means of transactions and tips. And if you look in the top right corner, let me make this bigger so you can see it. So way up there in the top right corner of the screen, you see that 6.78 with that little colorful icon? That represents the LBC credits, the Lbry tokens that I've received for watching various videos on Odysee. That is a completely different model from YouTube or Facebook or anything like that. Very innovative, and it's yet another reason. And that gives me a wallet to collect my LBC. So if I wanted to, I could have my mine pool send my LBC credits to my Odysee wallet. And yeah, it's pretty amazing. Okay, so it's time to actually get the miner ready for operation. 2 simple steps. Download and install the Goldshell miner. That software is available at goldshell.com. You go there, there is a tutorial that explains how to do all this, and links to the software are right there. Download the miner software, which is basically a management platform for the miner itself. It doesn't participate in the process of doing the calculations, but that is necessary to be running so that you know that the device is operating correctly. You use it for configuration and management only. The second step is you got to download the USB driver that makes this thing work. They make one for Windows 10 and Windows 7. And yeah, that's basically it. And connecting the miner hardware is also ridiculously simple. You plug it into power and you plug the USB into your computer. There's no on-off switch. You plug it in and it's running. The only other thing is a USB cable, which is supplied. You connect it from the miner to an available standard USB type A port on your laptop or computer. And of course, that is a requirement. It's used for management only. But you have to have a connection to a computer because the network and connectivity is happening via that USB cable. So the next thing is it's time to configure the mining pool settings. So remember from my diagram at the beginning, the miner is going to be communicating with the mine pool. And in order to know where to send its data and how to communicate, it just needs a few simple pieces of information. There's something called the URL, the Universal Resource Locator of the pool, the TCP port, the worker name, and the worker password. These things are actually fairly straightforward to figure out. And if you go to, in my case, my mine pool was this via BTC. They have a generic set of instructions on how to mine LBC coin. And you don't even have to follow all those instructions because you're going to follow the instructions that came with the miner, the Goldshell instructions, which are really excellent. But they've got some specific information about how to choose a payment method, which you don't have to initially do. This particular parameter was right there in step 3 of the instructions. They give it to you. See where it says stratum plus TCP. The thing after the colon is the port number. I know somebody's going to ask, so let me go into the Goldshell miner software and show you exactly where to enter those details. So I'm in the Goldshell miner and I'm going to stop the miner. And once I've stopped the miner, I can click on set pool, and the set pool brings up all those parameters. You type in the mining URL, the port number, the worker name. The worker name is something that you will define when you create the mine pool account, and you enter a password, and that's it. And you click ensure, which is basically the same thing as OK. I'll just hit cancel, and I'm going to restart my miner. The only thing you need to do to kick off mining is to click start in the mining software. And then what you want to do, and what you saw me do in the last step, what you then want to do is monitor the hash rate in the mine pool software to make sure that the miner is actually communicating with the mine pool. You're going to go back here. You're going to go to pool, dashboard, and in the dashboard, you want to see that there's a hash rate. If it's 0, then you know that the miner is not communicating with the mine pool. But if there's a non-zero hash rate, then you know that it's working. So here's how it works here. Okay, so you take the number of watts in the device. This is an 80-watt device. This miner is equivalent to an 80-watt light bulb. You divide by 1,000, that gives you kilowatts. You multiply times the number of hours you're going to use the device, which in our case is 24 hours a day, because why wouldn't you want to mine 24 hours a day to maximize your earnings? And then you multiply that times the kilowatt hour rate, which is how much you pay for electricity. I live in the New York area. Con Edison is our utility. Right now in May, that's about 12 cents per kilowatt hour. So 0.08 times 24 hours times 12 cents per kilowatt hour is 23 cents per day. That comes out to $6.90 per month, which allowed me to calculate how many months it takes to break even in the purchase of this device and the operation of this miner. So here's the break-even analysis. I looked on eBay and I saw a range of prices. Some people are paying $1,000, some are paying $1,200, some are paying $1,500. So let's assume you can pick one up for $1,100. Based on the mining that I did for about 36 hours, my monthly gross revenue would be $87.30. The cost of power for a month is $6.90. And by the way, that $87.30 is after the cost of the mine pool itself and the fees that the mine pool would take out. So my revenue would be $87.30. Cost of power is $6.90. The monthly net revenue is $80.40. And against the $1,100 purchase price, that would mean a break even of about between 13 and 14 months. Now, there's a lot of variability. This is based upon a valuation of LBC coin at 11 cents. It could go up, it could go down. If it goes up, that would improve the break-even analysis, and it would cause it to be a shorter number of months to break even. If you can find a way to power the device for less than $6.90 a month, that will also improve your break-even. If you live outside the New York area, you probably don't pay 12 cents per kilowatt hour. You probably pay less. If you have excess solar capacity in your house, then this might be a very nice way to consume some of that extra power, and you'd get an even better looking break-even analysis than I did. And that's how it's all dollars and cents, and that's how you do it. So that's it, everybody. That's my look at the Goldshell LB1 Lbry miner. I think it's an eminently useful little device that seems to work extremely well. It does what it says it does. Learning how it interoperates with a mine pool that's where the learning curve is, because it's extremely easy to set up the miner. I hope that you enjoyed this unboxing and product review. This is Charlie from Ask Dad Why. It would mean the world to me if you'd click the subscribe button so I can work on some more of these things. I'm going to try to post this on Odysee as well as on that other larger, more established channel that we all know and love. And I'll see you on the next video. On Mondays and Thursday nights, I live stream on Reddit/r/distant socializing. And I hope we'll see you there, 8 p.m. Eastern time. And thanks, everybody.